Greetings, Oriire Funowo. Good tidings to you. I pray that you are feeling awake, aware, and elevated in mind, body, and spirit, wherever you are, and whatever may be happening around you. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. I'm Baba Umar, Oluranse Emese, voice of the MSA, member of the Isoro Traditional Council of Chiefs, Oluwo of the House of Umar, and Babalawo of Ile-Ife, Orisa. This Ile spiritual house, our website, and these video lessons are certified and sanctioned by the Isoro Traditional Council of Chiefs in Ile-Ife, Nigeria. I want to thank you for joining us for another lesson in our video blog series. I invite you to click the links below to become a subscriber to the channel. Click on the notification button to stay up to date, and share this resource with your family, friends, associates, anyone that you feel may benefit from this wisdom. Homage to the one who sends and to those who are sent. Homage to Orisa and Egun. Our topic for this video review is from my December 2016 blog post, which was entitled Trusting Your Ori. Before we get into the meat of that particular message, let me preface it with a reminder of something that we've shared in the past few videos. Culture. A people's culture is their entire design for living, passed on from one generation to the next through learning. Your culture influences how you perceive the world and your place in it. We say that it covers your entire design for living. Every religion, politics, the economy, medicine or healthcare, every aspect of life is covered or in the umbrella of that thing that we call culture. Your perceptions about life, the world, and your place in it, and the choices you make based on those perceptions will in turn determine the course of your life or your fate. Let's define fate simply as the consequence of your choices. In other words, your destiny is what you came into the world to do, and your fate is what you actually end up doing, the consequence of your choices. We live the consequence of our choices. Within your particular cultural paradigm, based on your choices, you may end up at a different level of the social strata. You may end up just hanging on, and again, we're talking in all areas of your life. You may end up just hanging on, just surviving, just living. You may end up thriving, and you may end up excelling in life. Right now, you're sitting and you're viewing this video. That means to me that you have made or are making, in the process of making, a decision about if and how the Ifa spiritual tradition of Ancestor and Orisa worship can help you to be more successful in life, in every area of your life. You should be clear that what Ifa requires you to do in order to be more successful is to shift your perceptions about how the world works and your place in it to a different cultural worldview. That means you can't simply approach Ifa as a religion, viewing it from the same perspective as your old way of thinking. Ifa requires you to internalize a new cultural paradigm based on the fundamental principles of the Ifa tradition. So ask yourself if you're really ready and willing to do that, to make that shift. So our topic is trusting your Ori. In my last post in September on understanding your Ori, I spoke about the conflict that can emerge between our physical Ori, Ori Ode, and our spiritual Ori, Ori Inu. This conflict emerges because of our physical nature and the characteristics and forces of the marketplace, the Oja. I once received an email that touched me emotionally because I could feel the sense of painful desperation that the writer was experiencing. It was one of those emails that provided a teaching and learning moment for all of us. Let me share some of the email with you. The initial correspondence stated, "A Babalawo is helping to return my love to me by my birthday. That is in 2 days. We have done many rituals. Dirt from his house was scattered at the 4 corners of mine. A black and white beaded necklace that I broke into 9 sections was scattered over 3 days. I wear a green necklace. A bowl of water is under my bed. White ribbons are tied to my bedposts, but nothing is happening. Can you help me?" Now, I've edited a few areas of the message just for spelling and grammar purposes. When I first read the email, I wasn't sure exactly what the writer was trying to express. In fact, her exact expression, helping returning my love, conjured up images from day 2 of my journey to the route to Ile-Ife, when a young boy named Yemi stepped in front of our car and was killed. No, I wasn't driving. As I described in my journal, there was a point during the day when Yemi's father demanded that we drive his family and their dead son's body to their church so that the preacher could raise Yemi from the dead. What was the father expecting? Well, we know he wanted the preacher to raise his son from the dead. What was this writer expecting from the Babalawo that she was working with and from me? It also concerned me that there was a specific timeline for Orisa to act in her behalf. I responded, "Ifo Kanbale, peace of mind from Olodumare. Unfortunately, you did not tell me exactly what you and your Babalawo are trying to do, returning my love in parentheses, and I am unable to address your concerns. I pray that Olodumare, your Ori and your Orisa will guide you to your chosen destiny. Alafia ati imo, peace and knowledge." While commenting on the lack of clarity about the purpose of the rituals, I wanted to avoid making any statement that might cause the writer to experience any further doubt in either the rituals or her Babalawo. I didn't want to be critical of the Babalawos' actions. That's why I provided her with a link to the On Becoming a Babalawo section of the Ile-Ife Orisa website. I'll try to remember to put a link to that story, that message, in the description below of this video. Note also the ending prayer does not mention the Babalawo, because from my view, the Babalawo is not the carrier of the person's destiny. The writer's next correspondence stated simply, "Can you not do this?" It reminded me of Yemi's father's reaction when the preacher told him that he could not raise his son from the dead. My reply, Ifo Kanbale, I can sense your strong desire for this to happen, but this is not something that I would be involved in under these circumstances. If I were trying to assist you, we would first want to know if this is something that you want or if this is something that your Oriire has ordained for you. Ori mi apere, my Oriire, carrier of my destiny. As your birthday has now arrived and passed, I pray your heart can hear the wisdom and guidance of your Oriire. Your Oriire will not allow something to happen that is not on path for you. If you force a matter that goes against your Oriire, you create cracks in your Ashe Ami, your energy signature, and attract negative consequences. Alafia Ati Imo, peace and knowledge. This ended our brief correspondence. I never heard from the thinking young woman again. There's a great lesson here to help us understand the nature of Ifa and this cultural shift, this shift in thinking that is required as you come into the Ifa spiritual tradition of Orisa and Ancestor worship. Consider, Ifani ki isen. Ifa is not a religion, though it contains religion. Ifani bawo ayeshishe. Ifa is how the universe works. Ifani iwati aye. Ifa is the nature of the universe. Ifa ki ipuro. Ifa does not lie. Ifa ki iseke. Ifa does not mislead or deceive. Ohun tiyo osele nifa unwi. Ifa simply says what will happen. There's much that we do not know about the writer and her love, but it seems reasonable to conclude that at least one of them made the choice to end the relationship. Most likely, him. If that is what their Oriire has guided them to do, and if you ask Orisa, they ask Orisa, if you're in a situation like that, if you ask Orisa to make them come back to you, what are you doing? What are you doing? What you are doing is asking Orisa to put that person's physical Oriire, Ori Ode, into conflict with their spiritual Oriire, their Oriire Inu. Can you see that there's no good that could come to you from doing something like that? We're each here to follow our own chosen path in life. And no one of us has the right to control the destiny of another. And to not only summon Orisha to do this for you, but also to put a specific timeline on their actions almost certainly reflects a lack of spiritual knowledge or spiritual development and operating from a perspective that is not part of the Ifa spiritual tradition, the Ifa cultural worldview. Patience is an important part of Iwa Pele, good character. Good character, Iwa Pele, is a fundamental principle of the Ifa tradition. We say to love someone enough to let him or her go is one of the highest forms of love. I'll say that again. To love someone enough to let him or her go is one of the highest forms of love. If the person that you love cannot achieve their destiny in their relationship with you, why would you selfishly hold them back from their destiny? The primary reason that they chose to come into the world. In my opinion, and again, I don't want to set myself up, and be critical of the actions, the thinking of a Babalawo. I don't know what all of the background was in this situation, but in my opinion, the most important thing for the Babalawo to determine is whether the writer's Ori sanctions the relationship. In other words, perhaps the Ebo's rituals and ceremonies should be performed to bring true love into the writer's life, rather than to return someone against their will. When we ask Orisha and the Emole, the immortals, to assist us in fulfilling some ambition or goal, we must remember that every change in anything changes everything. In order to answer your prayer, the entire universe has to be reconfigured to accomplish a new reality that includes the answers to your prayers. This takes time. There's an Ifa saying, Igba Olodumare Nigba. It is Olodumare's time that is time. Sometimes Orisha will call for a devotee to do an Ebo. And I tell my spiritual godchildren to call me when they have completed the Ebo so that I can consult to see if Orisha has accepted the Ebo. On some occasions, Orisha will say immediately that the Ebo has been accepted. Balance, yes. Absolute, yes. On other occasions, Orisha will say, wait, and consult again later, 3 days later, 7 days later, wait for 7 days, 14 days, and then come back and ask if the Ebo has been accepted. I always take this to mean that something remains to be done to reconfigure the universe before the agreement between the devotee and the Orisha is sealed. The Orisha are not like, rich grandparents whose sole purpose in life is to spoil us by fulfilling our every desire. Ori mia pere, my Ori, carrier of my destiny. Your Ori is the carrier of your destiny and is determined to guide you to those choices that will lead you to fulfill the purpose for which you chose to come into the world. The Orisha cannot change. The Orisha cannot affect change in your life if your Ori does not permit it. The Babalawo cannot affect change in your life if your Ori does not permit it. You cannot affect positive change in your life if you do not listen to and trust your Ori Inu, your spiritual Ori. Ifa says, whatever a person's Ori has refused, to approve cannot be granted by any other God. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. Ori mi ape sin, my Ori, the most precious. Ise olorun tobi, God's work is great and mighty. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. Ki olodumare orisha ati egun fifune ni itona imoye ati opo ire. May Olodumare, Orisha, and ancestors bestow on you guidance, wisdom, and abundant blessings. Ifo Kanbele, peace of mind from Olodumare. Ajo Lo, Ajo Bo. We go out together, we return together. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo. If you've gained something from this video, I ask you to click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the notification button, share the video information, share the link, the website with others, and I look forward to seeing you with our next video. Ashe, Ashe, Asheo.